Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be about The Menu, a movie that came out back in 2022, November 18th. I know I'm a little late to the video and to the review. I've been kind of holding it off because of the whole copyright thing, but I really don't want to keep holding it off any longer, so I'm talking about it now, and if the video doesn't do that well, it's perfectly fine with me. But before I get into the video, I want to just put a disclaimer here. If you don't want spoilers, this entire video is going to be spoilers of the movie. I'm not going to be just like literally showing the movie, but I will be talking about what happens in the movie, not everything, but obviously like the ending, just in general things that happen. And if you don't want to have that spoiled for you, by all means exit the video, go ahead and watch it on things like Amazon, Hulu, HBO. If you have any of those things, go ahead, it's right there for you to watch. Enjoy it, it's a really good movie. But anyways guys, let's get back into the video. So the video today is going to be about The Menu, a horror slash comedy movie that came out in November, and I really liked this movie. This movie was a genuinely really good movie. Now I know the reviews say 7.2 out of 10, 88% Rotten Tomatoes, all that jazz. If you go by Rotten Tomatoes, I think you're kind of goofy because Rotten Tomatoes are not very, how do I put this? I don't really trust Rotten Tomatoes, but I've really liked this movie. I ended up watching it a second time, and I originally made a recording for it like a month or so ago, and I want to scrap that because my opinions changed about the movie. It's way better than I thought it was. It's just fun. It's dark humor to the finest. It's very funny. It's just good. When I bought tickets for the movie, I was worried I was wasting my money, and I genuinely was happy I spent money on tickets to go see it in theater because it was way better in theater than watching it at home. Because the second time I watched it at home, but in theater, it's just so fun watching it there. It was just a fun movie with so many twists and turns, a lot of things that you kind of wouldn't expect. And for the moral of the movie, I think if you've seen the movie or if you've watched it already, you can tell that the movie takes shots at pretty much a lot of different people. Now, if you don't know what's going on, a bunch of people go to an island where this restaurant is located called Hawthorne. On this island, they prep food specifically. It's supposed to be fancy food. Obviously, you get the point. It's really fancy food. These rich people go there, and each table has a specific group of people at it. Now, one of them has an old couple, a couple that has gone there multiple times over and over and over again. They've been there 11 times total. And then one of them is a food critic and her little partner who just kind of is a yes man to her. Another table is 3 young men who work for the guy who owns Hawthorne, right? Who owns that island. And another table is a movie star or a previous movie star who is kind of washed up. And then the last and final table is where our main character is set, Margot or Aaron. And I know that's a spoiler right off the bat, but we'll get into that. Margot and Tyler. Tyler is a kid who, at the beginning of the movie, is pretty much just inviting his girlfriend to a dinner. Now, I want to kind of get into this right away because I know it feels like I'm just spoiling it off right off the bat, but Margot is not his girlfriend. Now, throughout the movie, Margot is kind of in a weird situation, right? Everybody sits there and gives her weird looks. A good example is Elsa, this Asian lady at the beginning who kind of just gives her a weird look, basically says, oh, you're not supposed to be here. And the head chef, Chef Slowick, literally pulls her back to the kitchen in one of the parts of the scene and just tells her, you aren't supposed to be here. You were not planned to be here.
Who are you?
I am Margot.
You shouldn't be here tonight.
Please get the fuck out of my way.
At the beginning when they were, telling everybody their names for the seating, the proper seating, she didn't even have the correct name. And that's because Tyler's original girlfriend broke up with him before going. So he hired a sex worker, Margot, to go with him to this, dinner. And throughout the entire night, they're fed specific foods. At the beginning, it's normal food, and then it starts to escalate. It starts to get goofier, right? Like, oh, they're giving us, bullshit when it starts with the bread. The bread is the course where they basically say, go fuck yourself, you don't get any bread because you don't deserve bread. And they just give you the toppings that go on the bread, just a little tiny bowl of it, right? And this is where it sets off some of the people at some of the tables. The 3 men who work for Hawthorne get very angry, very often, and they flaunt their wealth a lot. I mean, flaunt it way over the top.
Is everything to your liking, sir?
Well, actually, no. Thanks for asking. Look, the food's great and we totally get all the conceptual stuff, but could we please get a little bread, and some gluten-free for my friend as well?
No.
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 And Margot obviously is upset. She wants to actually eat food. And Tyler is just not fazed by it at fucking all. The guy doesn't care. I mean, Jesus Christ, he doesn't give a fuck. And eventually we start getting into a spot where the tortillas come out. And the tortillas have pictures on them. The pictures are things like, for example, the 3 young men that I just talked about. It's a picture of bank statements, illegal transactions that they have made consistently, you know, basically just doing illegal things, right? The food critic, it's a bunch of pictures of these places these restaurants that she's reviewed that have since been taken down. A good one is the actor. It was a movie called Calling Dr. Sunshine or something like that. A movie that he was in that was bad. Very bad. And then a good one to end off on is the old couple. The old man got one of him and a young woman. And we'll get into that young woman situation in just a second.
What are they, Will?
They're restaurants. That I reviewed that all closed.
Oh.
Taco things for the tacos.
No, the pictures, they're all of us. Huh. Well, this one is after you had the melanoma removed from your forehead. There's the bandage. Isn't that nice? They remembered us.
Tyler, is that you?
Yeah, they're on me from tonight taking fucking photos. Oh, look.
What?
Calling Dr. Sunshine.
Oh my God, I forgot about that one.
Dumb part, bad script. Fun shoot, though.
Wait, hey, guys, what the fuck? Are these? How did he get these? It's not good.
This sets off these guys a little bit, right? I mean, everybody's a little freaked out. They don't understand the situation. You know, everything's getting a little out of hand, right? People don't understand what's happening, what's going on. And of course, one of the sous chefs, one of the guys that works for Slowik, comes out and he introduces his dish. But a twist to it is that Slowik basically makes this man fucking cry. Slowik basically just kind of rubs in the fact that he's never going to be like Chef Slowik. He's never going to be just like him, and that his entire life was a waste. He wasted his entire life living out here doing this menial task for nothing. It was a waste of time. And as this man is crying, explaining this to the audience, everybody sitting at the tables, he shoots himself and he dies. Obviously, when you fucking shoot yourself, you die, but that's where everything starts to set off. People don't understand what's happening. People freak the fuck out. And from then on, it is explained that everybody is going to die tonight. Everybody sitting at these tables, not a single person is going to live. The whole plan of Chef Slowik is that he's tired of this work. I'm gonna skip a little forward because it's kind of menial to talk about literally everything, but Chef Slowik is tired of the same thing every time. He feels mistreated. He feels like his work is overlooked and just bad. And he even talks about many other things, you know, like throughout his life. And we'll go into a little bit more after I talk about Tyler's situation. So the old man sitting with his wife, he gets up, he tries to leave, and they don't let him leave. They cut off one of his fingers. You know, he's in shock. Tyler is not fazed by any of this. Tyler literally does not care. He's not fazed by it at all. He's just enjoying the food and is just being kind of a suck up to Chef Slowik, like literally sucking the dude's dick the entire night. And Chef Slowik is like getting sick of it. It is later revealed that Tyler knows exactly what's going on. Tyler is, you know, aware of the situation. Tyler is aware of what's happening. He knew about this. He was warned about it. You know, Chef Slowik was very proud of Tyler because he was actually somebody who liked his work. You know, he was actually like, oh, this is a guy who, you know, respect my work. Unlike everybody else at these tables. You know, all of these people will judge every single ounce of it. This guy just accepts it, loves it. But then once Tyler was in the flesh, he realized, God, this foodie shit is very fucking annoying. You know, he has standards to his work and Tyler's not abiding by those standards. He's not at all abiding by them. So Chef Slowik tells him to cook, which is also a very big meme. If you haven't seen the fucking meme where he just sits there and goes, cook, you know, like the whole fucking let the guy cook, basically. Just let him cook.
Thank you. I am. Thank you. I'm proud of you. Thank you, Chef. Tyler, now cook.
What?
Cook. You're a cook.
Oh, I don't know if I can cook.
night. And Tyler cooks up a meal that's called Tyler's Bullshit. It is uncooked dog shit. It is bad. Like, it is terrible. And Slowik whispers to Tyler. Tyler leaves, takes off his shirt, goes away. And it's later revealed that Tyler has hung himself, most likely because Chef Slowik literally just went up to him and said, fucking kill yourself, dude, you're a loser. That is kind of the turning point where we get to Margot. Now, Margot, it's pretty obvious that she is the mistress of the old man in that picture on the tortilla. The woman that the old man has been meeting up with is Margot. He has met her before. You know, there's multiple parts where he's like, oh, you? He knows who this lady is. And it's later revealed that Margot's name is not Margot, it is Erin. Her name is not Margot. She goes by a different name because of her work and what she does. And Slowik basically tries to get her on their side. He's like, are you, you know, one of these filthy people who, you know, sit out there and judge our work? Are you one of these people who take? Or are you somebody who gives? Are you going to be part of us by the end of the night? Or are you going to be part of them by the end of the night? And she wants to be a part of them, obviously, because she has no choice. She's not escaping this island, right?
Serve many Margos. You're not a Margot. No.
What the fuck does it matter?
It matters because this menu, this guest list, this entire evening has been painstakingly planned, and you were not a part of that plan. And it's spoiling everything. In order to proceed, I have to know where to seat you. With us or with them.
So he sends her off to go get a barrel from his place, right? She goes to get that barrel and Elsa shows up because Slowik never explained to Elsa that this stuff needed to be done, right? That was the whole point. And she kind of attempts to murder Margot and fails as Margot kills Elsa.
He didn't tell me about the barrel. I didn't forget. Oh my God!
This later reveals a door that she originally tried to go in before that is Chef Slowik's room. And another thing that I'd like to point out is that Chef Slowik's house on the island is a carbon copy of the restaurant. So it's literally the exact same thing. But when she enters the house, you start to notice that in a lot of his pictures on the walls of his achievements, he's never smiling. And the one that he is smiling at on a big middle piece is when he originally started cooking at a burger restaurant where he was just a, you know, employee of the month, and he was smiling in that picture. And I'll get into all of these things when I'm done telling basically the little story here, but when she finds that out, she heads back to the place. She realizes something. She realizes that she knows how to get out. So she tells Hawthorne off. She says, your food is fucking dog shit. Make me something good. She tells him, I want a cheeseburger, a normal one with fries. He makes it for her, makes it real good. She asks for it to go. He gives it to her to go, and she goes to the boat and she escapes. And the end of the movie is the last dish is he makes everybody into marshmallows and he lights the whole place on fire. The whole place fucking explodes. That's the end of the movie. The moral of this story that I got from it is kind of like how I feel about restaurant workers, you know, customer service workers treated very unfairly. Or in general, I feel like they make fun of a lot of things, right? Like I said, each table represents a specific thing and a specific group of people that just aren't really that good of people. Like a good example, the old couple. They have been there 11 times and Hawthorne eventually, he goes up to them and he asks them, you know, what is something on the dish that you remember? You don't remember anything because these two old couple, they don't remember a single thing that they've eaten. And they've been there 11 times, right? You've been there so many times that you should at least know one thing on the menu. They don't. So they come here, they eat this fancy food and they don't even care. You know, they don't care about what they just ate. They just went there for the atmosphere. They just went there to go see, you know, the food and then leave. You know, they weren't there to enjoy it. They weren't there to praise Chef Slowik for his work, and they just basically spit in his face. Another good example is the food critic. That one's pretty self-explanatory. It says a lot about food critics in general and how they literally can end an entire person, an entire family, an entire group of people's career purely off of a bad review. Just because Lillian Bloom, that's the name of the character, she has ended multiple businesses purely off of what she felt the food tasted like, which is a little bit over the top, right? It's a little bit overdoing it. You're ending an entire business just because of your own pure opinion, right, of their food. And anybody can take that and say, yeah, you kind of deserve to die. You're a shitty human being who's ended other people's, livelihoods because of your opinion of their food. I mean, I think a lot of people here can agree that critics aren't the funnest people. Critics don't really get a lot of good rep. People don't really like critics, and I can agree, I don't like critics. They're very shitty people. They treat people poorly in the restaurant industry. They expect everything, and they're very shitty people. And throughout the movie, Lillian is very just annoying. She's very needy. She nitpicks at the tiniest baby things that just don't need nitpicking, right? I mean, she talks about her like yolk or something having just a little bit of a split or a crack or something like that in it.
There is another broken emulsion. Courtesy of Chef Slowick.
Another example is the three men at that table, the three men who are clearly, criminals. They're obviously horrible people, and the moral of their kind of story is, I think in general, it's a bunch of dudes who take advantage of people by bribing. Because throughout the entire movie, they try to persuade Elsa to get them specific things because they have money, and the guy they work for owns this island, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. So they kind of just expect things their way, and they expect things to be done perfectly their way, and obviously, they're assholes. They're shitty people who expect things, they do illegal things, and they're just, they expect things to go their way. I mean, that one's pretty obvious. The only other one that I think I feel very bad for is the movie star. The guy who plays him is John, I'm gonna say his name wrong, but Leguizamo or something. I've seen him in a lot of movies before. I feel so bad for him and the girlfriend that he brings with, because in general, I actually don't think they deserved death at all. The whole premise as to why he's actually there and was invited there, because Hawthorne, I'm sorry, I never explained this, Hawthorne invited every single one of these people. He invited him there because Hawthorne, on his one day off, decided to watch a movie, and that movie was Calling Dr. Sunshine, with the movie that was on the tortilla. And Slowick repeatedly talked about how the movie was terrible and the acting was so god-awful that he could not resist inviting this man to the dinner so he could kill him. I think that's fucking hilarious. Dude literally did not deserve it at all. It's not like he did anything bad. It's just that he just sucked in that one movie and it ruined Slowick's day. So now he has to die. And for the girl that he brought with, she wants to leave, and then he asks her, what school did you go to, and do you have any student loans? She says no, so she gets to stay. The whole point I think there is that she's kind of like a privileged girl who's stolen money from this movie star. She's, profiting off of this movie star. She kind of just leeches off of him. So he's just kind of no, you don't get to go. And again, the side with Tyler and Margot is that Tyler is representing foodies and how foodies kind of ruin the food industry. And I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me for saying that one, but in my personal opinion, I think foodies genuinely ruin the food industry. They make food boring. They make food not fun. Food is meant to be enjoyed, not glorified. And I think foodies very much glorify food, and it ruins food for me. I've met foodies in my lifetime, and I genuinely don't like it. I don't like being around foodies because I don't like sitting down and literally moaning and groaning at the food I just ate, right? I just want to enjoy my food. I'm not here to fucking, have a genuine heart attack over the food I just ate, right? I'm not over here just literally shitting and coming in my pants because of the food I just ate. And throughout the entire movie, Tyler does that. He is literally, it almost seems like he's coming in his pants for this shit. It's a little bit ridiculous, right? I mean, it's over the top reactions. It's what made Slowick so annoyed, right? Originally he was oh, here's a guy who respects my food. And then when he shows up, he's Jesus Christ, this guy does not abide by anything. You're not allowed to take pictures. He's still taking pictures of the food. He's overdoing it with the enjoyment of the food. You're supposed to come in, you're supposed to enjoy my food. You're supposed to be all right, that was a cool meal. That was a good meal. I really respect what you made, and you're supposed to leave. You're not supposed to sit here and be oh, fucking fuck me, chef. God, I want to bend you over and I just want to fuck you. Because that's basically Tyler throughout the entire movie. I think it's a real representation of genuine foodies who ruin food for everybody else. And then there's Margot, and I think she just represents similar work to Slowik, right? Because he originally used to work at this burger joint. He was just a regular customer service worker who used to work a menial minimum wage job, and that was the time of his life back in the day. That's what got him into what he wanted to be, a chef, because he was good at his job. He was employee of the month, right? And Margot represents another technically customer service worker. I mean, if you count, you know, selling your body for sex or like sexual needs, you know, obviously that's technically in the same realm, I guess. I wouldn't really call it that. But Slowik, obviously you can tell over the years, he slowly starts to fall apart mentally because he realizes more and more the fancier his food gets, the bigger he becomes, the more people and the richer the people become, the shittier he's treated. I mean, the lesser he is as a person. He's more seen as just this figment in this person that's just here to make you food, and then that's it. And then if you don't make it good one day, a critic can ruin it. Or you have a group of people who come in every time. They don't even respect it. They don't care about it. You have a bunch of rich guys who come in and just expect everything they want done their way instead of respecting your way of doing things. And then you have a movie star who made a movie who you didn't like. Just, again, I can't get over that fact. But that's kind of what I got from the movie. Maybe you got something different from the movie. I want to hear everybody's opinion about what they saw from the movie. My personal opinion is that's kind of what I saw from it, and I really recommend watching it. Like I said, I didn't want to explain every joke throughout the entire movie. I didn't want to explain everything because I think it's a genuinely funny movie and an enjoyable movie. It's fun horror and it's also fun comedy, and I think anybody can sit down and enjoy it. As for my rating, I'm gonna give this movie a solid 8.5 out of 10. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it was made to be perfect. My original rating was like a 7.5 or 7.7 out of 10. It deserves more than a 7. It's funny, it's fun, it's like a good movie to just enjoy with friends or just like a girlfriend, something like that, you know? It's fun to just sit down and watch the movie. Like, there's no time wasted when watching the movie, and that's why I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10, because it's not perfect, it's not amazing, but it was made for enjoyment, right? It was made for you to have fun, and that's the point of the movie. I feel like anybody and everybody who watched this had fun watching it. I don't think anybody sat down and was like, oh, fuck this movie was terrible. I couldn't watch it. It was just bad. Because everything about the movie just felt good. Like, it wasn't like terrible. Nothing about it was like gross, weird, you know, wrong. It was very fun, very enjoyable. And again, the sense of humor in it was just good. I mean, I love dark humor, and I love the dark humor in this movie. It was really good. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on The Menu. I really enjoyed making this video. I know the process for it took a while for me, and you know, it's much different from what I normally do, especially because I mostly do commentary. It's a much longer video, and I used to make longer videos back when I first started, and I kind of slowed down and made shorter ones. I want to get back into making longer videos, maybe even more movie reviews, stuff like that. I've said this in multiple videos. I want to branch out more, make a little bit more variety content, right? I'm not jumping away from commentary. I just want to kind of make more like video game videos or movie reviews, stuff like that. And it would really be great if you guys could help me out with that, you know, show some support. If you guys don't like that, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to watch the videos. You don't have to watch the movie reviews. If you just want to be around for the commentary, stick around for the commentary. It's not going away. But I also want to point out that I said Hawthorne every time I was talking about Slowik after explaining the movie. I'm so sorry I did that. I don't know what happened. If you don't know, Hawthorne is actually the guy who owns the island. Hawthorne is not alive. He's not, you know, he's dead. He kills him in the movie, but I don't know why I just kept saying Hawthorne. It's Slowik, so bear with me on that. I had to put a bunch of, you know, Slowiks every time I said Hawthorne in the video. But before I end this video off, I kind of want to get a little bit of feedback from you guys, whether you think I did a good job on the movie review. If you guys think I did good, well, thank you. And if you think there's some work to be done with them, that's perfectly fine. Just tell me what I need to do and I'll work on it. I don't have a name for this type of stuff yet. Like I said, all I do is kind of review it and then just give the kind of rating that I have, and maybe I can eventually come up with a name for my reviews at some point, kind of like how Moist Critical has Moist Meter, or, you know, a lot of different movie review channels have, you know, a name for their ratings for movies and movie reviews, and maybe eventually I can come up with something. But I have a lot of respect for you guys for bearing with me, watching my content, bearing with the type of content that I make. Like I said, I love the idea of variety videos, and I want to branch out in the editing process, which is what I'm trying to do here. I know it's not a lot, but I think that I can definitely learn from it and get much better with it. And I thank you guys so much for just bearing with me. You know, I know that I said at the beginning that this was going to be late, and it is extremely late. This was made in 2022. The movie was. was. And I just took my sweet ass time. A lot of it is because of the copyright strike. I was afraid to upload it during then. The copyright strike is pretty much almost expired, so thank God. But I'm finally building the courage to finally upload it now, and I'm just glad that, you know, a lot of the people who watch my content is sticking around, and thank you guys so much for doing that. But anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Here is another broken emotion.